What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. Just me and Joey tonight. Joey, let's just get right into it, man. Your name on the stream says it all. The fuck just happened?
The fuck just happened?
Holy crap! So, I mean, let's reframe it here. So, this we're doing instant reaction to Game 1, NBA Finals, obviously, Golden State versus Boston. If you're following us, you're following the league, so you know what's going on. Boston takes it 120-108. They were down what, 11 or 10 going into the fourth?
12.
12. Okay, they were down 12 going into the fourth. Kind of felt like Golden State was in control. Golden State had been in fair amount of control most of the game. But then that fourth quarter, the 20-2 run from Boston, holy crap, they came back, stole game 1 in Golden State. Golden State's first loss of the playoffs at home. Joey, just go, man. What's your reaction?
Yeah, up 12 going into the fourth, got outscored 40-16 in the fourth quarter. The Celtics had a little comeback reminiscent of what the Bulls did to them early on in the season, so they have flipped the script here. I had a whole thing at like the end of the third quarter. I was like, man, they're down 12. I was fully anticipating this game was over, and I was gonna be like, hey, if you're Boston, you probably take a little bit of, comfort in, losing a game where Tatum scores 12, but like they're not going to lose by a lot. Like they're kind of fighting back here. Games getting close. Like shots aren't dropping. Like, hey, that's probably pretty, comforting for game 1 on the road. And they just absolutely flipped the script on them in the fourth quarter. Horford was out of his mind. I was looking through the box score, and I was like, there's no way Warriors are losing, right? You got Otto Porter Jr. goes 4 or 5 from the field, all 3-pointers. Steph had 21 in the first quarter. They were just, Clay was doing, like, there was just no way that they were going to lose this game. And yeah, the 20-4 run or whatever it was at the end of the game, there's just, it's hard to believe that they went that cold. It's not often you see the Warriors go that cold for that long.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I kind of going back to your first point there you made, I was very much in the same boat. I was like, I feel like Golden State's going to win this game, somewhat comfortably. I felt the same thing within that 10-point window. Just kind of how the game had been going, but I was fully prepared to come out and be like, you know what, if I'm Boston, I'm not too worried about this. Like,
yeah,
it was,
exactly.
Kind of a garbage game from Tatum. He had good games from everybody else. Steph had a monster game, I guess in a way, especially with those 6 threes in the first quarter. You were saying 21 points. So it definitely felt like, even if like in that third quarter, you said before the run, if they were going to lose that game by 10, by 8, it was going to be like, all right, you know what? Hey, tough loss on the road, but it was all right. Let's come, you can come right back in game 2 and win game 2. I would have had no, doubts about that. It wouldn't have looked like, okay, these guys are overmatched. And that was my big takeaway from the first 3 quarters, is I was like, Golden State right now is looking like the better team, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
for sure.
Boston does not look overmatched at all. Boston looks like they can hang with these guys. And then the fourth quarter happens, like you're saying. And it's like, whoa, where, these guys, it's almost like they got in that rhythm that they had been in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then how they had been against the Bucks for sure. They kind of found that rhythm that they were kind of lacking all game, and maybe it just started from Jaylen Brown. He had 10 points in the fourth quarter, or at least I don't know if that's what he ended up with, but I remember in that run, I started just kind of setting up the stream and everything. So, but anything else you saw besides that kind of that fourth quarter run? Maybe something you saw from Golden State that you kind of like, how did they react now from losing this game?
Yeah, I think they need a little bit more consistency. Poole was not great tonight, 2 of 7 from the floor, 9 points total, had some sloppy turnovers. That's really the only area. I mean, Wiggins had 20, Steph had 34, Thompson had 15. I mean, Draymond had 4, but that's not, not to be, 11 rebounds. That's fine. He shot 4 3-pointers, which I think maybe is something they could maybe avoid. Steph had 7 3-pointers. I don't know. It didn't even seem like Boston really clamped down on defense on them in the fourth quarter. It just seems like Golden State just went so cold that it wasn't even funny. I also think, too, like looking at the box score for Boston, Derek White had 21 points, and then obviously Horford got hot there late, ended with 26, went 6 of 8 from 3 points. I don't know if you're going to get that kind of repeat for performance from both of them. We saw Horford had that big game against Milwaukee, the one big game and then he was pretty, just average the rest of the series. I would expect that kind of returns to the norm. But on the other side of that, Tatum had 12 points, went 3 of 17, which isn't going to continue. So if you're going to swap out Horford for Tatum, kind of that point total, like, I don't know. Golden State, I thought, had this done, right?
I thought so too. I was like,
I can't believe that they went on that kind of run in the fourth. I mean, it's hard to look at. I just don't understand. Like,
see what happened. Well, it was kind of weird too, because I think Mark Jackson kind of brought it up when Boston was kind of first making their surge and cut to like 3 or 4. He goes, it looked like Golden State kind of took their foot off the pedal a little bit, and that's maybe the one thing with this Golden State team is they kind of play so loose and with the turnovers and just kind of like. They had that when they lose by like 50 against Memphis in game 5. It's just stuff like that where they just go, all right, we're good. I think maybe that was kind of the feeling of we're up 12 against this team that we've kind of handled. We're okay, we're good. They kind of took the foot off the gas. I know Steph was sat the first couple of minutes of the fourth quarter. Boston goes on that run, and then they just couldn't like turn it back on. They were just, like they came back. I think they pushed it back up to like 5 or 6 again. After the lead got to 3, and it was seeming like they were going to kind of turn it on, and then Horford started hitting threes, and White was hitting threes, and that was it. And then it was then it was over. I agree with you about questioning can you get that kind of production from Horford and White again. Obviously, the Tatum is going to get his footing here and have a better series, but I wonder kind of with Boston, is their recipe Tatum and Brown having solid games and then finding 2 or 3 guys to contribute. Maybe it's Horford White this game, but maybe it's Smart and Williams next game. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just kind of bouncing around between 2 different role guys a game. Is that kind of the answer here? And does Golden State have that kind of depth? Because like you said, Jordan Poole didn't have a great game. Clay was all right, but he didn't really go off. And is it just going to kind of be on Steph?
Yeah, that's kind of what it actually looked like too. Like when they were down 3, I think it was like 103 to 100 when Horford hit that 3 and they took the timeout, and they showed on the broadcasts. Steve Kerr was saying, "Hey, we're down 3 at home. Like we're in good shape. Like everything's fine. Like we're right where we can be." And it was like, all right, I was just like, Steph's gonna hit a game winner, something. And I think everybody in the building was assuming the same thing, and I think the Warriors even were kind of assuming the same thing. Like, Steph's just going to bail us out of this because that's what he does.
Yeah, that's what he does.
He's having a game, right, where everything seems to be working for him, and that's kind of like what he's going to do. The other thing, too, is the Golden State didn't get to the free throw line very often this game, 15 times the line, 11 to 15. Boston only went 16 times, so not a lot of play down low, but that could be an area that they could try to exploit a little bit. Maybe Andrew Wiggins spends a little bit more time trying to get down in the paint. Draymond to Looney as well. Looney only had 4 points, and they looked at their best in the last round against Dallas when Kevon Looney was doing big things. Dallas was a little bit different size-wise in the paint, but they've got to do something. They can't just kind of, they're running a lot of high ball screens and trying to get stuff open and doing that kind of thing, but Boston isn't going to give you those easy switches every time. They're much better at defense than Dallas was. So they've got to mix it up a little bit here because, if you're going to rely on Curry playing hero ball, that's not going to get it done. And clearly it proved it tonight because he was hero ball, 34 points, and they lost by 12, and it should have been worse without some garbage time minutes.
Yeah, definitely. And Boston's going to figure them out. It's at least, defensively, because like you said, they were doing that high screen with Steph, and he had that 1-3 where he kind of stepped into it because Robert Williams had sagged off, and they kind of highlighted that in the broadcast and everything. But then the next couple trips down, that play wasn't there for them.
Yeah, you saw the adjustments made, right? He had 21 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, and 0 in the second.
0 in the second quarter. Like, so they said, "Hey, all right, we saw what you're doing. We figured it out, and we're going to do what we need to do." I can't believe they lost that game.
Yeah, I'm a little baffled too. My prediction is still alive. Golden State in 7. I think that has to be the case now. But to be honest, I really am starting to think Boston. I know it's just one game. We could play just one game, but That was a big one for Boston. I think getting that one.
I think it was the biggest one for them. I think this is a complete confidence changer for them.
Yeah, because Chris isn't with us tonight, but he was chiming in the group chat early and was like, early for first minute analysis, Tatum looks nervous. And I think Tatum did play nervous. He only had 12 points. He didn't look really comfortable right all game, but he was making some nice playmaking stuff. He was
13 assists.
The ball. Yeah, he was really moving the ball, getting guys shots. But he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna be not nervous pretty soon. So
yeah, he's not gonna go 3-17 again.
Yeah, no. So you're gonna have to figure out something to do with him. It was funny because you were talking about how you were going to come on and say, but Boston shouldn't be too worried after losing this game, and I was thinking of something similar. It actually did remind me because I don't know if you've been seeing, but Boston has been getting a lot of comps to the '91 Bulls with obviously Tatum and Brown kind of have a similar record to Scottie and Michael and all this stuff, and it did remind me of that. I was like, okay, they'll probably lose game one, being a little tight, and then could come out and the Bulls won 4 straight after that. So they lost game 1 against LA and then won 4 straight. Mm-hmm. So I felt like Boston could have been in a similar situation. So then, but actually winning game 1, now I'm starting to be a little bit more, okay, I think this could be Boston in 6 here if Golden State doesn't win the next 2 games in a row. Because that's the other thing, Golden State hadn't lost. I think I touched on this on the podcast with Chris the last one. I said Golden State hadn't lost a game at home, and Boston hadn't lost 2 in a row. So one of those was going to break, at this first 2 at home. So real quick, Golden State lost that one at home. So Boston's going to have to lose 2 in a row here if Golden State wants to get back in this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I still feel like Golden State is probably your favorite, but I think there's going to be a lot of betting money getting moved over to Boston here.
Yeah.
They showed, I guess they've showed what they've been showing us all playoffs, and maybe it's time to start believing that.
Yeah, I think that's like, you know what? When I picked Golden State, it was just I just can't pick against them right now. I just can't believe in Boston right now. Now I'm like, okay, nope. Now I'm seeing enough. I believe in Boston. Again, my pick is still Golden State. I'm still rooting for Golden State. I like those guys. But I think that the favorite, in my opinion, has shifted to Boston as far as...
It's definitely something to stroll into somebody else's arena in game 1.
Not have a great game.
Be down 12 going into the fourth quarter and win by 8 or win by 12. That's saying something.
Yep.
And that definitely gets the attention of your opponent. If I'm Golden State someday, that's a little nerve-wracking because Boston's playing with complete house money, right? They're up 1 now.
Yep.
Nobody thought they had a chance in this series, really. Everybody thought it'd be a good series. Like, it wasn't they were going to get blown out every game, but hey, it's Warriors all the way. And they just flipped that script on its head.
And Boston can kind of do what the Warriors are classically known for, is like, even if, because I expect the Warriors to come out guns blazing on Sunday, like you said. And if they come out and blow out Boston, Boston, like you said, house money. They're like, all right, it's 1-1 going back to our place, man.
Right.
So what are you going to do? You got 2 games in Boston. Good luck,
My only concern is, the Warriors came out guns blazing, right? They came out strong. Boston kept it close the whole time. Then they did their patented came out in the third quarter and, blitzed them in the third quarter. And I was like, all right, here's the Warriors, right? Come out at halftime and this is what they do. And, outscored them by 14 in the third quarter. And I was like, all right, that's game over. Yeah. It's done. Yeah. And they got it flipped on their head and they got it flipped hard. And
but I like what you said about, this is what gets your opponent's attention. And that's maybe my question. I wonder if this got their attention enough that Golden State is like, all right, we're going to be locked in for 48 minutes here in the next game.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That was a fun one, though.
The depth, you might be right, though. The depth for Golden State,
it just might not be there,
man. It might just not be there.
Especially with the guys that Boston have. So
yeah, their depth is a bit stronger, especially with 29 points from Pritchard and White. That's
what you gotta do. Well, you got anything else going in? Well, I do want to point out my theory of my 109 theory that was kind of a bullshit theory from the last podcast.
Mhm.
Proved to be right. Golden State scored 108 points and Boston won the game. So
You're onto something. You got some crystal ball there.
it is a wild game. After it was kind of clear Boston was going to win, I started watching that score. I'm like, ooh, this isn't going to. Golden State's not going to get to 109.
Not gonna make it.
There you go. You got anything else for tonight? Or you want to just go ahead and wrap it up?
It's gonna be a good series. Sunday
agree.
is gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
An exciting game too.
I still feel like this is going 7, but we'll see.
We get a little douchebag sweep.
A little douchebag sweep.
I could see that too. That's the thing. Like I'm not sold any which way yet of which this is gonna go. Like
so. All right.
I'm not sold any way.
I think I'm 60-40 Boston right now. The scales have tipped. I was like 60-40 Golden State before game 1. After game 1, I'm 60-40 Boston. So
Golden State's been here before.
True.
This is not their first rodeo, so I think they still get some benefit of the doubt.
Have they been down before in the finals? Like 1-0.
I don't know.
I'll have to look back at that. I'd be curious. I'm sure that'll start coming out if they've been 1-0 or 1-1 or something. So, well, anything else?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. All right, it's a good wrap up. Good quick little recap for you guys tonight. Join us after game 3 or game 2 on Sunday. Wow, I'm a little all over the place. Game 2 on Sunday. We'll be back with more instant reaction. Hopefully, Chris will be able to join us for that one. Give us his takes. He always brings the fire. But that is it for us tonight. So join us next time. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at the Box Out Boys. Slide into those DMs and send us an email at theboxoutboys@gmail.com if you want to talk some finals. And as always, like, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to us at now. We very much appreciate that. So for Chris, who's not here, and Joey, and Adam, who's not here, I'm Titus. Until next time, Box Out.